You're with her, and the space between you is charged. She laughs, a sound that feels closer than it should, and her hand briefly touches your arm. In that single moment, your mind splits in two. One part of you feels the warmth, the possibility, the simple human connection, but the other, louder part begins its frantic calculation. Is this a sign, or am I just imagining it? This is the paradox that traps so many men. You've been taught to look for secret codes, for subtle hints hidden in the shadows of her behavior, when the truth is far simpler and far more terrifying. The signs are not hidden, they are blindingly obvious. The problem isn't that you can't see them, it's that you've been trained to believe they are a test you are about to fail, so you dismiss them before they can even register. If this feeling of anxious uncertainty makes sense to you, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share your thoughts below. Because we need to talk about the fundamental mistake men make in that exact moment. The lie you believe is that her interest is a riddle, and your best strategy is to show none of your own. You believe that power lies in detachment. So when she offers that touch, that compliment, that extra moment of eye contact, you respond with a carefully crafted coolness, a slight pullback, a short, non-committal answer. You think you are building mystery, creating a challenge that will draw her in. You feel a temporary, hollow surge of control, believing you've won a crucial point in a game she doesn't even know she's playing. What you cannot see is that you are not building attraction. You are punishing her for her honesty. This punishment is a quiet, almost invisible thing. You won't see it in a grand gesture, but you can feel it if you're paying attention. Watch her eyes the moment after your calculated indifference lands. There's a flicker of light that goes out. Her smile might remain, but it no longer reaches them. Her posture, once open and leaning toward you, subtly shifts, creating a fractional yet definitive distance. Psychologically, she has just made a small, courageous emotional investment. She extended a part of herself to see if you were a safe harbor, and your feigned detachment acted like a wall of cold air, telling her it was a mistake. For you, the man, this confirms your distorted view of reality. You see her pull back and think, see, she was losing interest anyway. You become trapped in a self-fulfilling prophecy of your own making. Here is the truth that will begin to untangle this knot. Her signs are not clues to be decoded. They are investments to be honored. She isn't hiding her interest. She is calibrating it. Each small gesture is a bid for connection, an offering she makes to see if it will be held securely or simply dropped on the floor. The great inversion, you must understand, is that your attempt to play it cool is not a display of strength, but the most profound display of weakness. It is an action born from the fear of appearing needy. True masculine power, the kind that creates deep and lasting attraction, is not the ability to pretend you don't care. It is the unwavering presence to receive her interest, acknowledge it with warmth, and remain completely centered in your own frame, unshaken by the beautiful risk she just took. And so she goes quiet. The warmth you felt moments ago is replaced by a silence that hits you like a wall of cold air. Your mind, which was just beginning to feel a sense of ease, now floods with 1,000 frantic questions. Did I say something wrong? Was her interest just a fleeting illusion? The lie you have been conditioned to believe whispers its venomous logic into your ear. She pulled away because she lost interest. It's a simple, brutal equation that triggers an immediate, primal panic. You feel the ground shifting beneath your feet, a sudden loss of control that your ego cannot tolerate. This feeling, this sharp sting of perceived rejection, is the catalyst for your next mistake. It's a mistake born not from malice, but from a deep, unexamined fear of being powerless in the face of her emotional world. Your reaction is almost instinctual, a defensive maneuver you believe will protect you. You decide to mirror her distance, to fight her perceived coldness with a calculated indifference of your own. You wait twice as long to respond to her next message, if you respond at all. You make sure your social media shows you living an exciting, detached life a subtle performance designed to communicate one thing: I don't need you. This is the game you believe you must play. You see it as a strategic withdrawal, a way to regain the upper hand by making her wonder, making her miss you, making her chase. For a moment, it works. You feel a flicker of hollow victory, a temporary surge of control that numbs the initial pain of her silence. You believe you are demonstrating strength, when in fact you are broadcasting your deepest insecurity. But you are not playing a game of chess. You are failing a test of emotional presence. Her withdrawal was not necessarily a verdict on her interest in you. It was a subconscious calibration of her safety with you. After extending herself with that initial sign of interest, she felt your cool, detached response. Her retreat isn't a sign of disinterest. It's a test of your masculine core. She is waiting to see if you will panic and chase, proving your neediness, or if you will remain a calm, centered presence, proving you are a sanctuary. Your decision to play it cool is the worst possible move. You are not building mystery. You are confirming her suspicion that you are emotionally unavailable, a man who cannot handle the simple warmth of genuine connection. You think you're winning a game, but you're failing the only test that truly matters. This is where the lie becomes a prison of your own making. As she remains distant in response to your manufactured coldness, your ego whispers a comforting, poisonous story. See, I was right. She was never really interested. You interpret her reaction not as a consequence of your actions, but as a confirmation of your initial fear. This is the self-fulfilling prophecy that keeps so many men trapped in a cycle of loneliness. You mistake her self-preservation for rejection. You create the very outcome you dreaded, and then you use that outcome as evidence that your cynical view of women is correct. You are left alone with your supposed victory, a king reigning over an empty kingdom, completely blind to the fact that you were the one who pushed her away. You must understand what your strategic silence felt like from her side of the void. It did not feel like a challenge. It felt like a punishment. She took a small emotional risk. She offered a part of herself, a vulnerable signal of interest, and your response was to make her feel foolish for having done so. Your feigned indifference taught her a critical lesson. Being open with you is unsafe. It communicates that her vulnerability will be met not with warmth, but with a game of emotional leverage. So she learns to hide that part of herself from you. The attraction hasn't necessarily vanished, but something far more important has been damaged: her trust. She no longer sees you as a potential partner, but as an emotional adversary. And no woman is drawn to a man she cannot trust with her heart. Ultimately, this entire strategy is built on a foundation of fear. It is the desperate act of a man terrified of his own heart, so afraid of appearing needy that he amputates his own ability to connect. The control you think you are gaining by feigning indifference is the most hollow illusion of all. You are not controlling the situation. You are simply destroying its potential. You are choosing the certainty of being alone over the beautiful uncertainty of being vulnerable. The lie you believe that her withdrawal means it's over prevents you from discovering the profound truth. Her withdrawal is often an invitation. It is an invitation to demonstrate that you are the man who does not panic, the man who remains, the man whose presence is a rock, not a shifting tide of games and anxieties. The great hidden truth is this: her withdrawal is not a verdict. It is a question. You have been conditioned to see her silence as a closed door, a final judgment on your worth, when in reality it is a moment of profound calibration. She is not measuring her interest in you. She is measuring her safety with you. Her nervous system, an ancient and wise instrument, just registered your cool, calculated response as a potential threat. Not a physical threat, but an emotional one. Her retreat is an unconscious, instinctual step back to observe. She is waiting to see what you will do next. Will you panic and chase, revealing your instability, or will you hold your ground, revealing a calm, unshakable center? The space she creates is not an absence of feeling. It is a crucible designed to reveal the true quality of your masculine core. Think of her initial signs of interest, the touch, the compliment, the prolonged gaze, not as clues, but as investments. She is offering a small, fragile piece of her emotional currency to see how you will handle it. When you respond with feigned indifference, you are not building mystery, you are refusing the currency. You are communicating on a deep, non-verbal level that her investment is not valued here. It tells her that her vulnerability is a liability in your presence. So she pulls it back. Her withdrawal is an act of emotional self-preservation. You see her take a step back and your ego screams rejection, but her soul is whispering protection. She is protecting her heart from a man who has just shown her that he treats genuine connection like a game of poker, and she has no interest in bluffing. This is the test you never knew you were taking. It's not a conscious, manipulative game on her part. It is an instinctual, biological imperative. The feminine energy is drawn to a masculine presence that feels like a sanctuary, a harbor in a storm. Your calculated coldness, your strategic silence, these are not the actions of a harbor. They are the actions of a shifting, unpredictable tide. Her subconscious mind is asking one fundamental question: is this man a rock, or is he just another wave? Your panicked reaction, the desperate need to regain control by chasing or by punishing her with more silence, is the definitive answer. It proves you are the wave. It proves your emotional state is entirely dependent on her validation, and a man who is dependent cannot be a sanctuary. So the great inversion you must accept is that your attempt to appear strong by not caring is the single most powerful broadcast of your weakness. True masculine strength is not the absence of feeling. It is the ability to feel everything, the sting of her potential departure, the desire for her closeness and remain centered. It is the unwavering presence that communicates, I see you pulling away, and it does not destabilize me. I am still here. My peace is not contingent on your proximity. This is the energy that creates a gravitational pull. It is the calm stillness of the mountain, which does not chase the clouds, but allows them to gather round it. Your feigned indifference is a frantic, insecure energy. Your calm presence is an invitation. It is the only invitation she is truly listening for. Imagine the emotional landscape from her perspective. She offered a spark of warmth and was met with a gust of cold wind. Her retreat is her attempt to shield that small flame from being extinguished completely. She is not thinking, I don't like him anymore. She is feeling, that wasn't safe. I need to be more careful. Your subsequent silence doesn't make her miss you. It makes her wary of you. It validates her initial instinct to pull back. You are confirming her fear that you are a man who operates from a place of ego and strategy, not from a place of authentic strength and warmth. Every hour you wait to text back, every calculated post you make is another brick you lay in the wall between you, and you are the one who is trapping yourself behind it, wondering why she won't come closer. The dynamic you believe is a game of cat and mouse is, in its highest form, a dance of invitation and sanctuary. The feminine invites, the masculine provides the safe space for the dance to happen. Your job is not to chase her across the dance floor when she takes a step back. Your job is to be the center of the floor itself, solid, reliable, and present. Her step back is a test of the floor's integrity. If you crumble into neediness or lash out with indifference, you fail the test. She learns that the floor is unstable. But if you hold your space, if you remain in your calm, confident energy, you communicate that the floor is safe. This gives her the confidence to step forward again, this time with even greater trust, because you have proven you are not moved by the chaos of insecurity. This is the source of true attraction, the kind that lasts. It is not built on games or tactics. It is built on a foundation of emotional polarity. Her energy, which is naturally flowing and sometimes chaotic like water, is calmed and drawn to a masculine energy that is grounded and contained like the riverbank. When you chase, you become water crashing into her water. It creates chaos, not attraction. When you remain still, present, and unwavering in your own purpose, you become the riverbanks. You provide the direction, you provide the safety. Her interest, her energy, her desire will naturally begin to flow toward you, not because you pursued it, but because you created the secure container for it to exist. You don't attract by chasing, you attract by becoming still enough to be seen. Therefore, the hidden truth is that her withdrawal is your opportunity. It is the moment where you can separate yourself from every other man who has crumbled under the pressure of her silence. It is your chance to stop reacting to the fear of loss and to start responding from a place of genuine internal strength. The question is not what she is doing, but what you will become in the face of it. Will you be the boy who panics when the toy is taken away? Or will you be the man who understands that his value is not determined by her presence or her absence? Her silence is a mirror. It is not showing you her lack of interest. It is showing you your own lack of a center. And the moment you find that center, the moment you stop needing her to validate it, is the moment she will feel an irresistible pull to return. The ideal masculine reaction is born in the space she creates with her silence. The average man feels this void and immediately tries to fill it with noise. He sends a flurry of texts. He overanalyzes every past interaction. He scrambles for control. He sees her withdrawal as a problem to be solved, a fire to be put out. But the centered man understands a profound truth. The void is not a threat. It is a mirror. He feels the same initial sting of uncertainty, the same ego-driven urge to react, but he does not act on it. Instead, he simply observes it. He breathes. He allows the feeling of panic to rise and fall within him like a wave, without becoming the wave itself. His first move is always inward. He doesn't try to manage her emotions. He masters his own. This is not passivity. It is the highest form of action. His response, therefore, is one of authentic non-resistance. This is not the same as the strategic, punishing silence of the insecure man. That silence is a weapon designed to create anxiety. This stillness is a shield born from inner peace. He doesn't pretend to be busy or unaffected. He genuinely continues to be the architect of his own life. He moves toward his purpose, not because he is trying to send her a message, but because that is his natural direction. He goes to the gym, he focuses on his work, he spends time with people who energize him. He does not stop his world to wait for hers to start again. This is the most potent communication of all. His energy tells her, on a subconscious level, that his emotional center of gravity is located firmly within himself, and this creates a gravitational pull that no game ever could. You must understand this. You cannot grasp water. The more you clench your fist to hold it, the faster it slips through your fingers. The art is not in possessing, but in providing a container. Her interest, her attention, her affection, it is like water. The man who panics and chases is the man clenching his fist. He is driven by a fear of loss, and so he guarantees that loss. The centered man becomes the container. He accepts the fluid nature of her feelings without being threatened by it. He knows that trying to force a connection is a struggle against the current. So he becomes like the riverbank, solid, present, and unwavering. He does not chase the water. He provides the structure that allows it to flow naturally toward him. This is the essence of non-resistance, and it is the foundation of irresistible attraction. So, what does this look like in practice? When he decides to reconnect, his communication is clean, free from the residue of anxiety. He doesn't send a weak, questioning text like, "Hey, haven't heard from you. Is everything okay?" This is a covert plea for reassurance, placing the burden of his emotional state on her. Instead, he waits until he is genuinely unbothered, and then he sends a simple, declarative invitation. "I'm checking out that new exhibit downtown Saturday afternoon. Join me." It is not a question of her interest, but an assumption of it. It is an invitation into his world, not a request for entry into hers. It gives her a clear, strong offer to respond to, freeing her from the exhausting task of managing his insecurities and allowing her to simply feel her own desire. This approach fundamentally alters the emotional polarity between you. The man who reacts with panic or strategic games forces her into a position of power, but it is a power she does not want. It makes her the gatekeeper of his happiness, a role that feels heavy and burdensome. It triggers her instinct to pull away from a man who is emotionally dependent. But the man who responds with calm presence creates a sanctuary. His stability in the face of her uncertainty is a powerful aphrodisiac. It communicates that he is a man who can handle the beautiful chaos of her feminine energy without breaking. He is not afraid of her silence, because his own inner world is not silent. It is full of his own purpose. He becomes the calm eye of the storm, and she will instinctively move toward that center. Ultimately, this is the great shift in perspective. You stop trying to figure out how to attract her, and you start focusing on becoming a man who is inherently attractive. You are not building a better strategy, you are building a stronger self. This inner work is the only thing that matters. When you find that unshakable core within you, your actions cease to be tactics. Your silence is no longer a game, it is a state of peace. Your invitation is no longer a test, it is a genuine offer. You stop seeing her as a riddle to be solved, and you simply become the answer she didn't even know she was looking for. You become a man who is so comfortable in his own skin, so grounded in his own presence, that his very being is an invitation, and that is a call she will find it almost impossible to resist. And so you arrive at the final turn, the one that was waiting for you all along. You came here to understand her, but the journey was always meant to lead you back to yourself. Her silence was never the problem. It was merely the symptom of your own inner noise. Her distance wasn't a verdict on your worth. It was a reaction to your lack of a center. For so long, you have been asking the wrong question. You asked, what do I do to get her back? When the only question that has ever mattered is, who must I become so that her leaving is no longer a threat to my peace? The entire dynamic, the push and pull, the anxiety and the games, it all dissolves the moment you realize the power was never in controlling her, but in mastering yourself. The world doesn't change, you do. And then, for you, everything changes. Remember the paradox we began with? That she pulls away not because she feels nothing, but because she feels too much. You once thought this meant she was overwhelmed by her own attraction, a romantic and self-serving fantasy. But now you see the deeper, more profound truth. She pulls away because she feels too much of times you asterisk. She feels your anxiety. She feels the subtle vibration of your neediness, the calculated edge of your feigned indifference, the desperate hope hiding behind your eyes. Her nervous system, an instrument far more sensitive than your ego, registers this instability as danger. Her retreat is not a rejection of your strength, but an escape from your weakness. It is an act of self-preservation from the emotional storm you haven't yet learned to calm within yourself. She is not running from you, she is running from your chaos. This is where the game ends, not because you have won, but because you have finally put the board away. The frantic chase, the punishing silence, the desperate calculus of who cares less, it all ceases to exist when you stop participating. This is not a new strategy. It is the abdication of all strategy. It is the simple, profound act of becoming still. You stop trying to explain yourself because you realize she does not want your explanation. She wants your stability. You stop trying to manage her feelings because you are too occupied with mastering your own. When you become the calm eye of your own inner storm, you become a sanctuary for hers. This unwavering presence, this quiet confidence that is not dependent on her approval, is the only force that can truly command her respect and ultimately her desire. The transformation, then, is not external. It is not measured by her texts or her presence. The true victory is when she pulls away and you feel nothing but a quiet, centered peace. You feel the old sting of rejection for a fleeting moment, and then you watch it dissolve because your value is no longer tied to her validation. This is the great paradox. The moment you stop needing her, she begins to feel an irresistible need for your presence. You don't attract by chasing. You attract by becoming a man whose world is so solid, so full of his own purpose, that her entry into it is a beautiful addition, not a desperate requirement. You have become the source of your own gravity. Look back at her now, through these new eyes. She is not a riddle. She is just a woman, responding to the man you have become. Comment what you now see in her that you couldn't before.